All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about maximizing your sales. SMART goals, secrets for real estate agents. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Maloney. I really appreciate you guys joining me. If you haven't already done so, make sure to hit the subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications. That way you see more. I really appreciate you guys joining. We're going to go all over the SMART goals. A lot of people, kind of see the word SMART, think it just means SMART goals, like good ideas. But SMART is actually an acronym. We're going to go over what it means here and how you can better use SMART goals to grow your business in real estate. Because ultimately speaking, it's 2024. A lot of people are setting goals, but when they're setting goals, do they really mean them, or are they just doing it to go through the whole rhythm? I thought a lot of you here would be more intentional about it and that it would be helpful for me to go over what SMART goals are and how they could affect you. So first off, let's just talk about what SMART means. So first off, the first letter S stands for specific. The M stands for measurable. The A stands for achievable. The R stands for relevant. And the T stands for time bound. So by having those four different items in your goals, you can really ensure that you're not just putting a goal out there, but you're actually going out with intent and you're trying to get something done that's productive. You're trying to get towards that goal instead of just saying, I want to do a lot. Because a lot of people, they say, okay, yeah, I want to do a lot. How much is a lot? If I say I want to sell a lot of houses versus saying I want to sell 12 houses, which is a measurable and specific goal, I then have more, I guess you'd call it, push towards that goal, right? We're not just kind of throwing it out there. So first off, let's talk about specifics. So specific, let's say in real estate, right? If I said to you, I want to have 20% more listing appointments by next quarter. Now, we're being a lot more specific, right? We're saying exactly what we're looking for, which is listing appointments, and then we're saying some measurable goals like the 20%. But most importantly, the more specific you get on the goal, the better. And things that you can be more specific about. Maybe I want 20% more listing appointments in the town of Weymouth, Massachusetts. The more you dial your goal into what you're actually looking to do, the better you are. And remember that at the end of the day, if you understand a market and you're watching for what you're doing, you can really plan your goals. You don't just have to have them be something where, hey, it's 2024, everyone says I should have goals, now I should just throw them out. Your goals should be more of an item that's kind of flexible, right? We set a goal, and then by having them be measurable and achievable and time-bound, we can say, okay, it's been a quarter, which is only 1/4 of a year versus, oh, my goal was across a year. By time bounding them, we're saying in the next 6 weeks, in the next 1 week, in the next 60 minutes, in the first hour of every day, we can set those different time bounds to know that at this point, I'm really looking for advancement. And what that can do for us is then we can look back and say, during that time period, did I get done what I said I was going to get done? So the more specific we are about what we're looking to get done, the more we can focus. I know a lot of people talk about the idea of like the law of attraction or, manifesting things in or all these different things. But the truth is, when you really put it out there, something magical happens, whether it's the power of the mind or just the law of attraction or its manifestation. What we know is when we put our focus on something, similar to when we swing a bat or we swing a golf club and we hit, the ball goes where we're looking. Where we focus, things happen. So make sure to take that specific type of goal and really hone in on that. Now, measurable. Measurable is really easy to do. Measurable doesn't got to get complex, and it shouldn't be intimidating. When you're coming up with these measurable goals, guys, you do, though, want to make sure that you remember the A, which is achievable. Coming up with, I want to sell 10,000 houses, you might as well not write it down unless you already have kind of a system in place, a brokerage, you've got hundreds of agents working under you, or whatever you're going to need to make that 10,000 happen. But if you're already selling 9,800 and you say 10,000, obviously that's an achievable goal. That's something you can do. So when you're first looking at this, I don't want you to set low goals, but what I do want you to do is think when you're setting these measurable goals, what is a good measure? So say your first year in real estate, depending on your marketplace, you say I want to sell 12 houses, or you say I want to sell 24 houses, or you say I want to sell 100 houses. It depends, but what you should look at is what that actually takes. So as you're creating your goals, one of the things you want to do is market research. setting a goal without knowing how much market share is out there, how many houses sell in that marketplace, who's doing those sales, what room is there for growth in those, and how could you take that little piece, and how does your marketing plan and all these goals all collide? Because one of the things people forget is to take all your goals, your marketing plans, everything, and to have them all work together, because when they work together, that's how you're going to reach these goals, and that's why we're going to use measurements. The measurements are really, really important, but the measurements need to be, again, we'll jump over to the A, which is achievable. Now, achievable is kind of almost a mean word, right? It's almost a negative word, like, oh, I don't think you could achieve that. Whereas I'm not really saying it that way. I'm saying that you really want to make sure that you have big ambition, and it's vital to have, but you want to make sure that you could actually do it. Again, saying you want to sell 1,000 homes in the town of Pembroke, have you done the math? Do 1,000 homes even transact in that time period? Probably not, so you're probably not going to do it. That's where I want you to become very vigilant on looking. You want to be vigilant on looking. Can it happen, and what are the metrics to make it happen? What does my budget look like? What does my time allow? That's one thing people forget, right? We talked about time-bound goals, and we're going to get into that one next. But what we want to say is, hey, are we on track? Like, am I going to work 40 hours a week? Well, how am I going to work 40 hours a week and sell 400 listings? 400 listings equals 800 hours a month, or whatever it be. We got to do the math that way. And guys, as we're working our way along, we say to ourselves, we can achieve more as we put teams in place. So then we can take the team math. But being kind of, as they call it, realistic is very important. Now, relevance is in goal settings aligns you for your objective, right? If you kind of, I don't know, I guess you call it, a lot of people kind of throw it all out there, right? They instead of thinking, how do I dial in on one thing, they kind of think of the salt and pepper shaker, right? And they think, I'm going to put it on everything. Well, I want you to think, how are these relevant for your strategic alignment, and how are you going to grow your own specific business by making these goals happen? And the relevancy thing really has become even more relevant, I guess you would say, now that we have social media and things that constantly are confusing people to what is relevant to their industry, and how's it going to help their bottom line, and how's it going to help them achieve their goals. So make sure that your goals are relevant to the overall picture of what you're looking to achieve. If you're saying to yourself, the long-term goal is to take over southeastern Massachusetts, and then suddenly you make a short-term goal of going out and selling 5 more houses in East Longmeadow, Mass., you're not focusing on relevant goals, so make sure to dial it back in on that. And last but not least, the most important thing, time-bound. Time-bound, like I said, it could be in the next hour I want to do this. It could be in the next week I want to do this, in the next year, in the next quarter. But what I suggest is setting goals all the time, seeing that you reach them, and then moving forward to bigger goals. For some reason, people want to say, across the year, I want to sell 80 houses, but they don't want to talk about, I want to sell 7 houses a month. I would suggest doing the second one, which is the 7 houses a month, and go up to that 80 houses. But without that, you really don't have a lot of mile markers. And when you don't have mile markers and goals, you don't hit your goals. And one thing about the human brain is as we hit goals, we feel more successful, which allows us to hit more goals. When we put huge goals in place, we don't always become successful, because what happens is we get overwhelmed by the goal. We don't take the goal seriously. We try to go, oh my God, how am I going to? And then as we fall behind on the goal, right, the 80 houses a year, each month that goes behind, instead of saying 7 a month, suddenly month 2, month 3, we realize I'm 14, I'm 21 houses behind. How am I possibly going to do this? And that's why it's very important to have time-bound goals, so that you know, okay, at each step of the way, at each juncture, this is where I want to be in order to make this grand goal happen. So one of the fun parts about goal setting is you can break it down into day by day, hour by hour, and then you can think month by month, and then you can think year by year, 5-year, 10-year. And the best part of it all, guys, it doesn't have to happen. Goal setting is looked at wrong. Failing to meet your goals is learning what works. The entrepreneur mindset has to be fail forward. You have to think to yourself, no matter what goes wrong, it taught me what does not work. Because if you think it taught me what I can't do, if you think it taught me what I shouldn't do, oh my God, I hurt, oh that hurt, you're never going to survive as an entrepreneur. Every entrepreneur I know that's successful has failed the most times in life of anyone I know, and they learned how to get back up again. Guys, as you're setting SMART goals, remember to be very efficient about it and be very light on yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. Remember, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. You put those 5 simple things together, you're going to have a better 2024 year and a better life. Remember, be gentle with yourself. Goals are meant to be broken. Goals are meant to be up and down. They keep you just on track, and it keeps you remembering where you're trying to go and how you're trying to achieve something, which will lead you in the direction of achievement. And I hope that helps you guys. Guys, thanks so much for listening and watching today. I really appreciate all you. Go on and check out Real Facts on realestate.com. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. That way you never miss any of our future episodes, and you can learn more information all about being a real estate agent. Thanks again and have a great day.